Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Cold Turkey 17 presented by Innova Champion Disc. We're here for the back nine of our final round. This is where it will conclude. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, your tournament director and commentator, as we head over to the much more difficult back nine. 10 and 11, don't let those fool you. They're a little bit easier, but then things get much tougher. Your current leader, Christopher Meyer, shot 5 under on the front. Really good opening pace. That was with 6 birdies and a bogey. So Christopher has a one-stroke advantage. Here's David Heasley. David, very much a local to here, about 15 minutes from this course, located over in Spring Grove, Illinois. In fact, our top 5 competitors, all from Illinois, so that partially tells you not only how good they played, but, of course, how this is a very southeastern Wisconsin event where we draw from largely Illinois and Wisconsin. That was Jonathan Borzick with a great forehand. And this is Louis Dimock. Louis 1 under in the front 9. Trying to negate the bogey he picked up to close out the front. As we see a turnover, trying to flex back. A little bit of a backstop here. You push this 10 feet left, and you're in a world of hurt and likely not able to get up and down. So being just on the edge, not a problem for Christopher. He's going to walk away with a par. Online. Good everything, but just short. Those definitely are frustrating. Heasley for a share of the lead. And he'll have just that. All knotted up with Christopher. And no problems for Jonathan. He's going to pick up a birdie. He'll move to 1 under on the round. Jonathan now has 3 birdies and 2 bogeys. And they're going to take the very short walk over to hole number 11. Shout out to our presenting sponsor of the event, Innova Champion Disc. Hole 11 plays down from this left side. And it's a pretty straightforward hole, 260 feet. Plays slightly uphill. And the edge of the hillside for David Heasley. He'll have an uphill putt. 260 probably plays closer to 280, maybe even 290. This fence on the right side should not come into play for any truly skilled professional. Short but makeable putt left for Christopher. Oh, he would have loved to avoid that tree. I feel like that would have been parked. So here's Heasley. Deep in circle 2. And definitely the risk you take when you catch any kind of obstacle on this green, whether it's a nearby tree or the basket. Big moment here for Heasley. He's got to be happy that sat down. Of course, gives it a good run. Thought he had it, but it does sit down. We're looking at a potential 2-stroke swing, though. Oh, and left side chain. Light left side is what I was thinking. But it pulls it in for Louis. Louis, about 45 minutes from this course. Just started playing pro in 2022. Rated 963 and opened with a 1021 rated round. All 4 of these gentlemen all tied up coming into this round. They shot 8 under, which was a 1021 effort in the first round. And just like that, we see a 2-stroke swing between Christopher and David. Birdie to bogey. They head over to 12. The tunnel shot. Again, I feel like this is a hole you have to get through this initial tunnel. Otherwise, you're taking a big number. You could be taking 4, 5, 6, whatever. You have to get through the initial tunnel. And then how much more can you get after that is the question. And that's going to be short and left. But you're not mad about it. Very much a bonus get on this course. Slightly uphill. Probably plays a little over 400. We'll see what he's left with. All 4 of our players getting at least this close to the basket should give them par looks, as that just taps off the pole. It's when you're back 100 feet from here and you're off the fairway, that's when you're all but guaranteed a bogey. Jonathan also underneath the basket. Here's a little standstill, patent pending. Almost drawn metal. Went right next to the pin as well. Our presenting sponsors, Innova Champion Disc, along with big-time supporter and sponsor, Dan Harbeck. Thank you to both of those gracious sponsors.
Great try.
And Christopher having a look is, again, a small victory in itself on this hole. You're not mad about a par. I learned after the event, little party up here in the pavilion on 12 and the tee of 13. They do have fireplaces in there. People are hanging out, making food, enjoying themselves. A couple of these small pavilions located throughout the park, which first come, first serve. Come hang out. Nice late November day. So that's a set of pars for everybody. Is this where I steal Ian Anderson's barbecue? Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were just talking about food. I'll send you your royalty check, Ian. This is hole number 13. Arguably my favorite hole on the course because it's an island green. There is a concrete turnabout, little cul-de-sac at the end, and in the center we have placed a basket, and you have less than a full 30 feet from edge to edge when you're talking about this island green. And so you can kick off to the, left side. That's going to be trouble, but still inbounds. Any shot that lands out of bounds goes immediately to the drop zone. You don't have a choice. You go right to the drop zone, and that's short and right and puts you in that awkward zone of still having a difficult approach, but not a putt. Wow, and David skips off of the OB road and onto the island, all but parking it. What a shot. Still safe, but now a long putt to save par. And this is just jail. This is, rarely do you find yourself over here. There's a lot of other mistakes that can be made on this hole, and rarely do you get a kick that puts you over here. Oh, and that's concrete the whole way. That's going to be out of bounds for Christopher. Louis still left with some work to do here. This is for par. The drop zone is about 8 or 10 feet in front of him. Oh, and that leaks to the left side, and that's going to ultimately straddle the OB line, and he'll remain in bounds. So huge to stay in bounds there. Big birdie for Jonathan. Making up for some of the shorter misses. Big, huge circle 2 putt. Great birdie here on 13. This is Christopher. And that was for bogey. After the OB stroke, he'll have that left for a double bogey. And I think we're going to see a significant change here up top the leaderboard. Louis brings it in the 1 meter, which he's, of course, able to do, even if you're not out of bounds. And he'll walk away with a penalty-free bogey, which doesn't happen all too often out here. And Christopher, maybe even in a more rare occurrence, will take a double bogey without going OB off the tee. That is rarely seen. So he'll give up 2 strokes to his card in that he'll take the double bogey. But David Heasley says 2's not enough. I'll pick up a 3rd on you. And just like that, a lead change, 3-stroke swing here on the island of 13. .353 straight ahead. Well, I was going to say that's as good of a drone preview as you could ask for there. It's the fact that you just want to throw that shot. Dead straight. A little bit of finish to it, but basically dead straight. And have it fade at the very end. That's going to be short and left for Heasley, though. Jonathan very much in it. He's really turned it on as of late. He sits at 3 under for the round. Just 2 back of our leader, Heasley. Easy to make that mistake because on that right side where it's more open, that's where you could actually find OB in the road or the highway. So it is easy to be tentative here and come up on that short left side. Sometimes you get a late tree kick off to the right that could push you OB. And the last 3 shots there, all short left side, out of position. And gonna be happy that sat as much as it did. That cut and rolls a little bit harder, and he could actually find the OB road. So Heasley will have work to do to save par. That's exactly what Christopher's trying to do. He's got a little gap, and that's going to put him on the dance floor. I like it. Similar gap, just much closer here for Louis. Oh, it gets one of the tiniest little branches. Slight drop off behind the basket, but not too drastic here. Louis looking at a bogey at best. This is David to try and save his par. Full commitment, lunging forward, but David going to quickly erase the birdie he picked up on the island hole 13. Here's Jonathan. Man, another missed opportunity. If his putting was just a little bit more on, I think he'd be all knotted up at the top or maybe even have a outright lead by a stroke or two. Louis going to take his time. This is for bogey. That'll bring him back to even par on the round. This plays as a par 56. The two par 4s that we have are holes 15 and 17. So those are both looming, both somewhat easier par 4s. So Christopher's going to stay at 12 under, and this is David for bogey. And that will bring him also back to 12 under. So we are knotted up, a pair of 12s. Jonathan didn't convert on the birdie, otherwise he would have been at 12, but a tight battle nonetheless. And we're going to head over to hole number 15. Consider being a Patreon supporter if you'd like to support me and my channel. I'd appreciate it. And this hole plays down to that collection area where we just saw Jonathan finish, and then slightly back up to a hillside where the basket is perched up on top. You cannot cut it off too short. Gotta love the optimism by his co-leader, David Heasley. We'll see if that cuts all the way through or not. Just a textbook shot. That's exactly what you're looking for. You're not really driving the pin here at 495. There's just too many scattered trees at the latter half of the flight. But you could put yourself up there for maybe a long bid. The problem is with it perched on the hillside, it makes running at an eagle that much more daunting. Because you could easily go deep and find yourself in an OB parking lot 100 feet away from the pin. And this is the corner you need to beat. Christopher, short left side. You have to get past this tree. From there, then you just have a few scattered protected trees. But initially getting through this set is going to be his first challenge. And that is, well, that's exactly where you wish your drive would have landed. So at best, looking at a par. impending stance here. And nearly perfect. He says it's unintentional. I tried to cut that off. We didn't hear that. You can see just dead center frame where you can still see the basket. You got to be careful with your angle here. Oh, plays it out wide enough to the left. Should be an easy nestle next to the pin. And really, this is where most of your shots are going to land. Right about here. Little easy, gentle flick up to the pin. That'll work. That'll work. Little light. Little tentative, knowing the hill's right behind him. Nonetheless, that's a birdie. Little roller coaster action for the last few holes. Birdie on 13, bogey on 14, birdie on 15. He's your outright leader. So the lead will no longer be all knotted up because Christopher's going to tap in for the par. And he'll fall one back of Heasley. Jonathan's going to be right there in the conversation again now. He's at 12 under, all knotted up. 16, 17, and 18 to play. I'm fired up, ready to go. Hole 16, beautiful shot. Just down the tunnel. You want to beat that final crest there. And then you have about 45 feet to go to the pin. Little deep, but nobody's going to complain about that shot. Lots of putters, lots of mids. Rarely would you see a driver out of a pro on this hole. Nice, gentle, controlled shot. A little bit deep as well for Louis, but it'll work. That's pulled right. And Christopher, who is your two-time defending champ, right now has some work to do. You know, looking like he's losing ground as Jonathan doesn't connect. Christopher in 2021, last year, beat David Heasley. Oh, and that is way off. Beats David Heasley and Dan Schlitter by 1 in last year's version. The year before, he beat Dan Schlitter by 1, and I believe David Heasley by 2. As we're looking at some extra sponsors, Pilcher, Schleiss, Pastry Dyes, along with Michael Burke. Thank you guys so much. And now, a tester. David has yet to putt, and Christopher's trying to save his par.
That boy Chris, solid putt.
Not the work you're hoping to do on 16. One of the easier holes on the course. And David Heasley now has this for a 2-stroke advantage. Solid. He pushes to 14 under. That's 2 clear of both Christopher and Jonathan. Assuming Jonathan keeps the short one under control. He's missed a few of them. All right, all right. It's in. It's all that matters. But he'll be 2 back with 2 to play. Big thanks to John Roeder out there capturing the action. So David Heasley, 2-stroke lead, 2 to play. We're on the second and final par 4 of the round. Claiming it's going to be in the stuff on that short left side. You need to make the corner on this hole as well, which means you need to push almost exactly 300 feet dead straight, and then it will go at about a 45-degree angle up and to the left, uphill. That looks pretty good for Louis. You hear the wind picking up. The tunnel tee shot. And that also looks like it should be at the corner, just past it. And you see the basket on the far right side of your screen kind of blending in. This is the corner that you need to make. An extra 20 or 30 feet for David would have been a world of difference. We see him go into the overhand. Oh, and he hits one of the last trees. That's going to keep him short, but still give him a look for the birdie. You can see prime position here for Jonathan. Gives him the forehand and the backhand look from there. Christopher thinking there's an opportunity here. And if so, he's going to put himself in position for it. Trying to pick up one on the leader, David. Of a similar approach here for Louis. You know, think about all the times I've mentioned patent pending stances and how well executed they've been throughout this round. So maybe that's the question for you guys is, are you comfortable with your patent pending stance? Back to the basket like that? We've seen it save quite a few strokes out here. Heasley has a look, hopefully forgetting about what happened to him on 11 when it got up and rolled, and that one's going to sit for him. So you're going to walk away with a par and remain at 14 under. This is Jonathan to try and get to 13. That one's in. So leave that in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Do all the YouTube things. But then tell me in the comments. That'll make you eligible to win a cold turkey stamped disc. Are you comfortable with the patent pending? And if not, why? What's the hang up? Yeah, great putt by Louis. He'll pick up a birdie. I also host the Skyline Classic out here every year. We use this course and an even more challenging one over at Silver Lake Park, which is located less than 3 miles away. So look for that in the springtime each year. You play one round at each. Last couple of years, we've been pushing 260, 270 players over the 2 days. And this gentleman trying to defend his title, Christopher Meyer, moves to within 1. What a battle here at the Cold Turkey. And Louis in trouble. That is short right side. You have to push the tunnel here, which is at least a 320-foot carry. And then you'll have a few protective trees at the very end.
That looks good.
Dave, I got this. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that's all but parked for Louis to close out his round. It's at 10 under now, trying to get to 11. Good solid finish for him now. Christopher trying to put some pressure on. Jonathan is short and right. Christopher pushes this left side. Oh, gets a little tree direct, it looks like. That's also going to put him on the dance floor. He's within 25 of the pin. And Heasley may need to answer with a birdie of his own if Christopher's right there for it. Good flex. Oh, and it connects. It misses that tree, and that's going to flex right next back to the pin. And instead, short left side, Heasley has work to do. That hits up near the pin, but that is going to take him out of birdie contention. And now David, with a nasty kick onto this left side, doesn't have a completely wide open throw here. He hangs it out wide right. So here is Jonathan for par. And that will bring him to 12 under and end any chance at taking down the event. Louis and Christopher still inside this shot. Here's Heasley to save par. So Heasley will fall back to 13 under, which means this putt for birdie could secure the victory. And he's done it. Unbelievable. Christopher Meyer, now your 3-time cold turkey champion. He picks up 3 strokes in the final 2 holes to get past the local David Heasley. Heasley will fall back to 13 under if he makes this putt. But Christopher Meyer just lingering and pouncing in the last 2 holes. Overcomes the 3-stroke deficit. And that's going to be a heartbreaker for Dave Heasley. He won the event back in 2015, back in Cold Turkey 10. And what a battle, folks. Thank you guys for joining. That is the Cold Turkey 17 presented by Innova Champion Disc. Thank you to all the sponsors and supporters, the assistant tournament directors, everybody running around doing so much work to make this event happen. That's all we've got. Your champion, Christopher Meyer, now a 3-peat here at the Gray Fox course in Silver Lake, Wisconsin. We'll see you guys at the next event.